Good morning. Coming to you live from Quarantine Central, otherwise known as my beautiful home. I want to talk to you about some stuff coming up and what we're going to do today. The first thing I want to talk about is that there are now due dates on assignments. In the previous virtual learning environments, we just everything due on Sunday and just get it done at your own pace. That wasn't working out very well. So one of the evolutions we're doing this time is everything is due on the due date. So today uh, we're gonna finish up the notes. I'm gonna give you some time to finish your review sheet. Your review sheet is due tomorrow by midnight, essentially, not Sunday. So you have to get that handed in tomorrow. So I want to make you guys aware that especially next week, if we post something on Monday, we're going to have a due date for that, and you have to have it in by then, or you have to use your late homework passes. So make sure you're checking in every day. Make sure you're looking for what's due. I'm going to do my darndest to make sure I never assign more than 30 to 40 minutes worth of work between my video and the work I'm requiring. So I'm not going to bog you down, but it is due the day we put it on there. Please, 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 please stay up with your classes. You can always look ahead, but you can't work behind anymore. Secondly, we're gonna have a test Monday. We're gonna finish the notes, which it turns out is just a little bit, and then tomorrow you're going to hand in your review sheet, just the last page, by the way. You don't have to hand the whole thing again, just the last page of your review sheet. So you'll take a picture of that and attach it to the assignment, and then I'm gonna have from let's see, is it 12 to 1, I believe, or let's see, hold on. That's no. There we go. 11:30 to 12:30 tomorrow. I'm gonna have a Zoom link and password down here where we can have a review hour for all my 8th graders. I'll put together a quizzes, and you guys can ask any questions that you have. You can help each other out. But we're gonna have a review hour tomorrow from 11:30 to 12:30. And then Monday, we're going to take the test. Let's talk about that test real quick. It's going to be on quizzes, but you're going to have to log into it. So if you haven't logged into quizzes, you need to do that so you can get that set up. You're going to have only one shot at the test, and you're going to have a limited amount of time on each question. This is not the ideal situation. If the question only has like short words and short answers, you're going to get 10 seconds. It's not much, but that's on purpose because it's not going to give you time to look up the answer. You have to know it. Okay, so if you're a student that likes to look at the question and go, let me think about that, you're not gonna have a chance to do that on this test. You need to be ready to go when you sit down. It's the only way to take the test and not give you guys time to Google or check your review sheet. So there's gonna be a limited amount of time, so you can't do those things. So be ready to rock when you sit down for the test. The test will not take more than 20 minutes because there's 24 questions and they're between 20 seconds and 10 seconds a question. It's actually not even probably take 10 minutes. But you need to be ready to go. You get one chance. If you don't answer a question when the time is up, it is wrong. So you need to at least guess by time the time is up. Again, not an ideal situation. But when we do the quizzes in class, a lot of you guys answer the question in like 3 seconds or less. So it's plenty of time, especially if you know your stuff. If you don't know your stuff, you're probably going to struggle, but I don't think that would be any different than any other test. So please finish your review sheet. Hand in the last page tomorrow by midnight, and then spend a lot of time studying. Get ready. We'll have a review time on Zoom tomorrow. We'll have a chance to catch up with each other. I think that's it for today, except we're going to go over those last little bit of notes. So get out your section 4 notes. I don't think you have to add anything to the notes. We cut off at a spot where there's nothing new to put on there. But I did want to talk about a few things. We left off here, making peace with Great Britain. These are our new borders. But there's a couple of new problems. First off, the original 13 colonies ended at the Appalachian Mountains. Now they're considered 13 separate countries. So if you remember, think the word state means country. So now we're 13 separate countries. And one of the very first things we're going to have to worry about is who gets this land. We are not America If we were America, one country, there would be no disputes over this land. But now we got all this land open up and 13 separate countries who all want the land for their citizens. This is going to be a huge problem. Each state is going to have a different relationship with the Native Americans over here. None of them are going to be good. But imagine being the Native Americans trying to deal with 13 different countries, and some of them treat you better than others. Another thing that's going to come out of our revolution is the French Revolution. Marquis de Lafayette is going to go home, and he's going to help lead a revolution in France in 1789, where they overthrow their king. And it gets ugly over there. They start chopping off the heads, literally, of anybody who has royal blood in them or is related to the king. Then they start chopping off the heads of anybody who's disloyal to the new government. Then they just start chopping off the heads of scholars and anybody they want. It's known as the Reign of Terror. So their example of a revolution is what can happen when democracy goes wrong. But it's modeled after ours. When they get done with the whole ugliness and they settle down, Napoleon's gonna take over and gonna lead them on a huge rampage of taking over lots of land. And when that's all said and done, they become a democracy, and their democracy is very like ours. So they have a different route, but we're going to end up with our first democracy in Europe with the same ideals largely as America. It's an uglier path, it's a bloodier path, but it's a similar path. And they're going to end up being just like us. So we end up 13 states. Some of them like each other, some of them don't. They all have some rules that are the same, like, rights of man, and that we get to choose our own government. But then some rules that are very different, like slavery, and who can trade with who and all that kind of stuff. It's going to get ugly really quick, and we're gonna struggle for the next 60 years, not with the concept of who we are, but with the concept of how do we have 13 and eventually 25, 26 states that are completely independent from each other. And it just doesn't work. As a matter of fact, Europe has gone through this because they're a bunch of small countries next to each other. They've had struggles their whole existence, and it's led to world wars and everything. So we're going to have a civil war. And that civil war, the big issue is slavery, but that still revolves around the concept that is each state capable and allowed to do exactly what they want, or does there have to be cooperation between the states? Do they have to have similar rules, or can they do whatever they want? Slavery becomes the biggest issue, but it's not really a situation that a young country can handle, or a bunch of young countries can handle, because we don't really know what we're doing yet. Okay, so the next several chapters are going to be dealing with this concept of, are we truly independent nations, or are we one nation with a bunch of parts? All right, so that's the end of the notes. Please get your last page of your review sheet done. Hand it in Google Classroom. I will see you tomorrow at the the Zoom meeting. We're using Zoom now. And then hopefully you'll do a great job on Monday on your test. As always, email me with any questions whatsoever. I will do my best to stick by email as much as I can. Oh, and I'm working on getting your grades in. That's the next couple days. It's a big grade push. So be checking your grades. You should see a bunch of new stuff in there. Thanks. Have a good one, guys.